eventually I got promoted to doing the morning show with Carl Coffey, which was incredible.
Wow.
I grew up listening to him as well, the 5 o'clock funnies on CSX. So to work with, I remember the first time I met him and him just saying hello and hearing that monstrous voice that he had, that deep, heavy voice that is so distinct, and just like I was starstruck.
You know what's interesting is I, much like you, I grew up listening to Carl Coffey. He was one of the best.
Yeah.
And I never met him. I never had an opportunity to meet him. And in fact, I did not see a picture of him until after he had passed.
Oh,
And I have to tell you, it looked nothing like you would think he would look.
no, you thought he'd be this real big guy, husky. I mean, that was my vision of him anyway. And he was just a little guy, very health conscious,
Yeah.
which was really funny to me, because one story I will tell you about Carl Coffey was there was this little diner right by the station, and we call in an order, and he'd ask for an egg white omelet because he had to watch his cholesterol, and very health conscious, dry toast. I remember this so distinctly. And so he would come in some mornings if it was a rough morning, and he'd have Bailey's in his coffee. So he was quite a character, very much so a free spirit. And I didn't know it at the time, but I had learned so much from that guy in that moment. At times, of course, I'm 19, and I don't even know how old he was at that point, but I just remember like this crazy old man, but I learned so much from him.
So before we move on from your first radio, you said it was in Lapeer?
Yeah.
I didn't even know they had a radio station in Lapeer, because that's just
Yeah.
north of like Port Huron, over by that area, isn't it?
Yeah, it was a small little station. Basically, you take M24 Lapeer Road and drive it for a half hour after you get off at 75, and that's
So did you
Lapeer.
move, or did you just commute?
I did both. 2 years out there, I commuted the first year, and then the second year, after like the first bad winter, it was like, all right, I got to move out
not
here.
doing it, yeah.
And thankfully, I had supportive parents that were just like, okay, so consider this as if you were living in a dorm and you're continuing your education. You went to Specs as opposed to
Yeah.
Michigan State, so we did still save some money. So we'll help you with your rent and your groceries.